This video is going to be relatively simple because I'm just going to introduce to you a quick and simple tool called Flip Along. So as we know in scale, I'm just going to use this entire model for reference. So I'm selecting the whole thing. So we know that when we scale something, if I pull from the opposite point through itself, I can reverse that entire thing, and it's going to give me a mirror image of it. I can do that from the front to the back. I can do it from the side to the side like I just did. Just let me zoom out a little bit more. So I could do it in this direction so that I get to -1, or I could do it from top to bottom and scale it upside down in on itself. So you can do this with multiple things selected as well. An easier thing to do when dealing with flipping something is, I'll go ahead and hit my select so that scale goes away. So I've selected my entire model. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to do flip along. So I scroll all the way down here to flip along, and I've got three options. If I flip it along the red direction, what that does is it uses the red axis upon which to flip my entire model. So you can see it basically just turned everything inside out and it gave me a reverse. But it did this in place. Apple Z. And that's just me doing edit undo. So I can also right click, flip along, and go in the green direction, and that's going to flip it in this direction up and down here. And so you can see there's my green axis. Let's go ahead and undo that. And finally, flip along the blue direction, and that's going to turn it completely upside down, but it's doing this in place. It's doing this exactly in the place it was in. So I kind of like to use this, and its uses are kind of infinite. Like, let's just say you're, for example, designing something and you want to design, and I'm going to do a very large table. If I just make this a group and push bullet to open, and then if I put the legs, and I'm going to kind of haphazardly do this just for the sake of the demonstration, but if I make the legs here for this, and I've designed this thing upside down, it's a little easier to work upside down. And so if I drag one leg over like that, and then I find my midpoint using this endpoint to that endpoint, and this endpoint to that endpoint, I now can select my two other legs and rotate them along my midpoint like this to get to that other point. Select this whole thing and make it a group, and right-click and flip along its blue axis, which will right it, and that'll bring it upside down, or turn it upside down in place. So I don't actually have to go in and rotate it upside down. It flips it along in place. I would say that this is something that you'll use quite a bit. So that's the nuts and bolts of flip along. I'm sure we'll use it again in the videos as we move forward. But I just wanted to show you that there was an easier and different type of option than just using the scale to flip something in place or to make a mirror of something.